The streets of Manhattan were awash with the vibrant energy that only Broadway could produce. The theater district was alive with the bustling activity of showgoers and performers alike. But amid the excitement, a dark shadow loomed over the city's cultural heart. Jessica Marlowe, the celebrated Broadway star, was found dead in her opulent apartment, her life extinguished by a brutal act of violence. Jessica Marlowe, at 36 years old, was a luminary of the stage. Known for her striking performances and commanding presence, she had risen from modest beginnings in a small town in Ohio to become one of Broadway's most adored stars. Born Jessica Thompson, she had moved to New York City at the age of 20, driven by an unrelenting passion for the arts. Her career had been a whirlwind of success, marked by numerous accolades and sold-out shows. Her life, however, was not without its turbulence. Beneath the glittering facade of her public persona, Jessica grappled with personal demons and a complex web of relationships. Daniel Marlowe, her husband, was a distinguished theater director known for his keen eye and innovative productions. At 42, Daniel had spent over 2 decades shaping the Broadway scene with his visionary work. A native New Yorker, he had met Jessica during one of her early performances, and their partnership had seemed perfect from the outside. They married 5 years ago, their union appearing to be a blend of mutual respect and professional synergy. However, their marriage had recently come under strain, exacerbated by a series of arguments and disagreements over Jessica's career decisions. The discovery of Jessica's body came on a chilly November morning. The apartment was an elegant affair, a luxurious space that overlooked the bustling streets of Manhattan. It was a penthouse suite in one of the city's most prestigious buildings, adorned with plush furnishings and an array of artistic decor. The scene of Jessica's murder was both jarring and theatrical. She had been found sprawled on the living room floor, a stage knife, an instrument from her own theatrical performances, driven into her chest. The bloodstains on the hardwood floor contrasted sharply with the pristine white of her designer dress, creating a macabre tableau that seemed to echo the tragic drama of her life. Detective Ethan Cole, a seasoned investigator in his early 40s, was assigned to the case. With a reputation for his meticulous approach and sharp intuition, Ethan had solved numerous high-profile cases. Born and raised in Brooklyn, he was known for his dedication and no-nonsense attitude. His entrance into the case was marked by a careful and thorough examination of the crime scene. The apartment had been secured and cordoned off, the police tape a stark barrier between the normalcy of the city outside and the horror within. As Ethan began his investigation, he was met with a flurry of conflicting emotions and narratives. Jessica's personal life had been under intense scrutiny, and the media were quick to sensationalize her death. The press focused heavily on her husband, Daniel Marlowe, as the prime suspect. Their recent marital troubles, combined with their very public arguments, made him an obvious target in the eyes of the media. Witnesses had reported seeing Daniel in a heated confrontation with Jessica just days before her death, and his alibi for the time of the murder had been scrutinized with suspicion. Ethan's first step was to interview Daniel. He found him at their shared residence, a man clearly distraught by the loss of his wife. Daniel was a tall, imposing figure with an aura of quiet intensity. His grief was palpable, and his responses were filled with the anguish of a man who had lost the love of his life. He provided Ethan with a detailed account of his whereabouts on the night of Jessica's murder. Daniel claimed he had been at a cafe with several colleagues, all of whom confirmed his presence. Despite the corroborated alibi, the tension between Daniel and Jessica remained a focal point of Ethan's investigation. Jessica's recent decision to withdraw a significant role from Michael Rivers, a fellow actor, added another layer of complexity. Michael, a 34-year-old with a brooding demeanor and a history of financial difficulties, had been romantically involved with Jessica. The affair had been a source of significant stress in Jessica's life, leading to frequent arguments and emotional turmoil. Michael Rivers had initially been a promising talent but had struggled to maintain his career momentum. Jessica had been instrumental in his early success, but her withdrawal of support had left him in a precarious position. Michael had a motive for murder, but Ethan's inquiry revealed that he had an ironclad alibi. Witnesses at the cafe had seen him throughout the night, and surveillance footage supported his claims. The investigation soon turned its focus to Jessica's personal assistant, Lily Thompson. Lily, a 28-year-old aspiring actress with a keen ambition and a simmering resentment, had worked closely with Jessica for several years. Though she had been a fixture in Jessica's professional life, she had also been a source of growing tension. Lily had long harbored dreams of stardom and resented Jessica for what she perceived as an unjust favoritism towards Michael. Lily's demeanor during questioning was carefully composed, yet Ethan sensed an undercurrent of unease. She had access to the apartment and could have been present during the murder. Her motives, though not as clear-cut as Michael's, were rooted in a complex mix of jealousy and frustration. Ethan's intuition told him there was more to Lily's story than met the eye. As Ethan delved into Jessica's personal life, he found a trail of emotional and professional conflicts that painted a picture of a woman entangled in a web of personal strife. The once glamorous life of Jessica Marlowe was marred by secrets, lies, and betrayals, each thread adding to the tapestry of her tragic end. The investigation was far from straightforward. With Daniel's alibi intact, Michael's motives complicated by his financial issues, and Lily's potential involvement shrouded in ambiguity, Ethan faced the daunting task of unraveling the truth. The curtain had fallen on Jessica Marlowe's final performance, but the drama surrounding her death was only beginning to unfold. Detective Ethan Cole knew that beneath the surface of this tragic tale lay a labyrinth of human emotions and deceptions. As he moved forward with the investigation, he was determined to uncover the truth behind the stage knife that had ended Jessica's life, and to bring justice to the actress whose final act had been shrouded in mystery. Detective Ethan Cole began his second chapter of investigation into Jessica Marlowe's murder with a deep dive into her professional and personal life. The apartment where Jessica was found was a crime scene filled with luxury and stark contrast to the violence that had occurred. Ethan had already gathered the initial evidence and had begun to sift through the tangled web of relationships that surrounded the victim. Jessica Marlowe had left behind a life that seemed perfect to the public eye, but Ethan's task was to uncover the hidden struggles and conflicts beneath the glamorous facade. His first stop was Jessica's office, a sleek, modern space with a view of the city's skyline. Here, Ethan hoped to find clues that would shed light on the circumstances leading to her death. Jessica's personal assistant, Lily Thompson, had been a frequent presence in this office. Lily, a 28-year-old with aspirations of her own, had worked closely with Jessica for several years. Her role had evolved from a humble assistant to a more trusted confidant over time. Ethan wanted to understand Lily's perspective and her relationship with Jessica more thoroughly. Ethan's initial impression of Lily was that of a woman caught between her ambitions and frustrations. Lily was known for her striking looks and determined demeanor, but beneath the surface there was a palpable tension. Her resentment towards Jessica was not overt but simmered just beneath her professional facade. Ethan interviewed Lily in a small, tastefully decorated conference room, where Lily's calm exterior masked her nervousness. Lily claimed that she had been working late the night Jessica was killed, finalizing some promotional materials for an upcoming show. She had left the office around 10 p.m., hours before Jessica's murder. However, her explanation seemed rehearsed, and Ethan noted a subtle discomfort in her demeanor. Despite the seemingly solid alibi, Ethan was aware that Lily had access to Jessica's apartment and could have easily been present during the murder. The conversation with Lily revealed some critical insights into Jessica's life. Lily spoke of Jessica's recent decision to withdraw a significant role from Michael Rivers, an actor with whom Jessica had been involved in a turbulent affair. Lily recounted that Jessica had been increasingly irritable and stressed, often confiding in her about the mounting pressure from the media and her personal life. As Ethan reviewed the information, he discovered that Jessica's decision to withdraw support from Michael was not merely a professional setback, but had deep personal implications. Michael Rivers had been an aspiring actor who had gained early success largely due to Jessica's endorsement. When Jessica decided to pull the plug on his role, Michael's career took a nosedive, and his financial troubles became increasingly dire. This development had added another layer to the complex relationships Ethan was exploring. Ethan's next step was to delve deeper into Michael Rivers' background. Michael, at 34, had initially shown great promise but had struggled to maintain his career momentum. His recent financial difficulties were well documented, and he was known to have been deeply affected by Jessica's withdrawal of support. Despite his alibi being corroborated by multiple witnesses at the cafe, Ethan needed to explore Michael's motivations further. Ethan arranged an interview with Michael at a small, rundown apartment that the actor now called home. The contrast between Michael's current living conditions and the glamour of his past was stark. The once promising star was now a shadow of his former self, his physical appearance reflecting the stress and disappointment he had faced. During the interview, Michael was visibly agitated but maintained his innocence. He spoke of his desperation and frustration but denied any involvement in Jessica's death. Michael's story was consistent with the evidence, his alibi was solid, and there was no direct evidence linking him to the crime scene. However, his emotional volatility and resentment towards Jessica made him a person of interest in Ethan's eyes. Ethan's focus then shifted to Jessica's professional world and her interactions with others. He learned that Jessica had been involved in several behind-the-scenes conflicts, including a growing animosity with her former mentor, who had been sidelined in recent years due to Jessica's rising prominence. This mentor, though not directly implicated, added another layer to the investigation. In an effort to uncover more about Jessica's personal life, Ethan examined her social circle, including friends, colleagues, and acquaintances. He discovered that Jessica had been working on a secret project, a new play that she was co-writing with a celebrated playwright. The project was rumored to be a potential masterpiece, but Jessica had been reluctant to discuss it publicly. The secrecy surrounding the play suggested that it might have been a source of stress or conflict. Ethan's investigation led him to review Jessica's personal correspondence, including emails and letters. Among the documents, he found a series of heated exchanges between Jessica and Lily. The emails revealed mounting tension between them, with Lily expressing frustration over perceived injustices and favoritism. Jessica's responses were curt and defensive, highlighting a growing rift between them. One email in particular caught Ethan's attention. It was an exchange between Jessica and Lily from just a week before the murder. In the email, Jessica had threatened to terminate Lily's employment if she did not improve her performance. Lily's response was filled with anger and resentment, hinting at a deeper animosity. The email thread painted a picture of a strained relationship, suggesting that Lily's frustration with Jessica was reaching a boiling point. Ethan speculated that Lily's motives could have been fueled by both personal and professional grievances. The idea that Lily might have acted out of a sense of betrayal or desperation seemed plausible. To further piece together Jessica's life, Ethan reviewed her recent social interactions. He spoke with Jessica's friends and colleagues, uncovering additional details about her emotional state and relationships. It became evident that Jessica was under immense pressure, not just from her professional commitments, but also from her personal life. The affair with Michael, the strained relationship with Lily, and the secrecy surrounding her new project had all contributed to a sense of mounting stress. As Ethan analyzed the evidence and interviews, he began to see a pattern of jealousy, betrayal, and desperation. Each person involved in Jessica's life had their own reasons for discontent, and the investigation had revealed a complex web of motives. The challenge for Ethan was to unravel this web and determine who had the opportunity and motive to commit the crime. The case was far from straightforward. With Daniel Marlowe's alibi intact, Michael Rivers' motive complicated by his financial issues, and Lily Thompson's potential involvement marred by ambiguity, Ethan faced a daunting task. He knew that the key to solving the case lay in understanding the intricate relationships and hidden conflicts that had led to Jessica Marlowe's tragic end. As Ethan continued to dig deeper, he was determined to uncover the truth behind Jessica's murder. The dramatic and tragic nature of her death was just the beginning of the complex and revealing story that was yet to unfold. Detective Ethan Cole had spent weeks sifting through the layers of Jessica Marlowe's life, each revelation adding to the complexity of the case. The apparent motives, intricate relationships, and emotional turmoil surrounding Jessica's murder had made the investigation a labyrinth of human frailty and deceit. As he waded through the mounting evidence and theories, Ethan felt the weight of the case pressing heavily upon him. The turning point came when Ethan reviewed the final entries in Jessica's personal journal. The diary, discovered among Jessica's personal effects, was filled with candid reflections and confessions. The entries revealed the turbulent nature of her relationships and the hidden struggles she faced. One particular entry stood out, a damning account of her frustrations with Lily Thompson. The journal described how Lily's growing resentment had reached a boiling point, driven by both professional jealousy and personal animosity. Jessica's final entry was written just days before her murder. It spoke of a confrontation with Lily, where Jessica had threatened to end Lily's employment and expose her unprofessional behavior. The diary revealed that Jessica had been planning to confront Lily about her performance and the brewing tension between them. It also hinted at a more profound personal conflict. Jessica had been keeping secrets from those around her, including her husband Daniel Marlowe. Ethan's next step was to confront Lily with the newfound evidence. He arranged a meeting in the precinct's interrogation room, where Lily awaited him with an air of false confidence. The room was stark, with a single table and 2 chairs positioned under harsh fluorescent lighting. Lily's demeanor had shifted from nervous to defiant, her earlier composure now replaced by a cold detachment. Ethan presented Lily with the diary entries, watching as her facade began to crack. Lily initially denied any wrongdoing, insisting that she had been loyal to Jessica and had no reason to harm her. However, as Ethan read aloud the passages detailing their contentious relationship and Lily's threats, her resolve weakened. The pressure of facing her own words proved too much, and Lily's carefully crafted story began to unravel. Lily admitted to the confrontation described in the journal, but continued to deny involvement in the murder. She claimed that her anger had been a reaction to Jessica's harsh demands, and that she had left the office hours before the murder occurred. Despite the apparent motive, Ethan's instincts told him that there was more to Lily's story. Ethan decided to dig deeper into Lily's alibi. He examined her claims of being at home during the murder and found inconsistencies in her timeline. Surveillance footage from nearby locations, combined with witness statements, placed Lily near Jessica's apartment on the night of the murder. It became clear that Lily had lied about her whereabouts. With this evidence in hand, Ethan confronted Lily once more. Under the mounting pressure and the weight of the evidence against her, Lily finally broke down. She confessed to being at the apartment, admitting that she had acted out of a sense of betrayal and frustration. Lily revealed that she had gone to confront Jessica one last time, intending only to argue with her, but the confrontation escalated. Lily described how she had been overwhelmed by Jessica's scorn and the emotional strain she had been under. In a moment of rage, she had seized the stage knife from Jessica's collection and attacked her. Lily's confession was filled with remorse, but it was also clear that her actions had been driven by a complex mix of envy and desperation. Ethan continued to probe deeper, seeking to understand the full extent of the motive behind the murder. He learned that Lily had been struggling with a failed career and personal setbacks, which had only intensified her resentment towards Jessica. The final confrontation had been a culmination of these frustrations, and Lily's actions were a tragic consequence of her inability to cope with her mounting pressures. As the investigation neared its conclusion, Ethan was faced with the difficult task of piecing together the full story. He worked closely with forensic experts to corroborate Lily's confession and to ensure that all the evidence was properly aligned. The forensic analysis confirmed that the stage knife used in the murder was indeed from Jessica's collection, further validating Lily's account. The arrest of Lily Thompson was met with mixed reactions. The media frenzy that had surrounded Jessica Marlowe's death shifted to focus on the shocking revelation of her assistant's involvement. The public was stunned by the dramatic turn of events and the emotional depth of the case. As Ethan prepared for the trial, he reflected on the complexities of the human psyche that had been revealed through the investigation. Jessica Marlowe's life had been a tapestry of success and strife, her murder an unfortunate intersection of personal ambition and emotional turmoil. Lily's confession, though it brought closure to the case, also served as a stark reminder of the fragile nature of human relationships and the consequences of unchecked emotions. In the end, the trial highlighted the tragic outcomes that could arise from a mixture of jealousy, professional rivalry, and personal despair.